Hello and welcome back. In the last section, we set up the API to create the dish data in our system, but that was essentially devoid of the image or the photo for the dish, right? So let's go ahead and include that in this particular session today. All right, let's head over to the models and I'll head over to the dish. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and create another attribute called photo, okay? The photo will be again an object in itself, and it's going to have sub attributes in terms of data, okay? And this is going to be of type buffer because we're going to be storing our binary data, right? And this is going to be a buffer of, let's say, base64 encoding, okay? And another thing that we want to have here is the type, content type itself, right? So content type could be, let's say, image / JPEG or PNG or some other kind of format that we can support. So and this one would be content type, yeah, and this is going to be of type string. Okay, super. So I think we are good here from a model perspective. And what we're going to do next is head over to the controller part where we have a create dish routine. I'm going to destructure the photo as well, okay? Because that's going to be coming as part of this data into quest.body, okay? And right below this, I'm going to have a new function which will make the photo as part of our payload to the dish creation process, okay? So let's see how we can go about doing that. Okay, so I'm going to have a new method here, and that's going to be called save image. Okay, let's say function. I'm going to say call it function, and let's say save photo, and this is going to take two arguments, and that's going to be dish, and the other one would be the photo itself. And what we're going to do here inside here, I'm going to say if photo is not equal to null, yeah? If it's not equal to null, and if the and let's also define the image types here because we want to support certain image types here. And I'm going to say right up here, I'm going to create a list of supported image types. Okay, right here, I'm going to say const image types is equal to, this is going to be an array. Okay, and I'm going to say can support image of, let's say, of type JPEG, JPG, all right, then image / PNG, and also the other variant JPEG, and image / PNG, yeah, and let's say image / GIF, let's support GIF as well, okay, all right. And what we're going to do here is if photo is not equal to null, what else? We can also say we should actually use a different because photo is going to be an object, and if there's an empty object, we should be able to essentially identify that. Probably use some other frame library like Lodash to actually identify that. But we'll essentially come here. What I'm going to do here is have a to do here. To do, I'll say handle empty object scenario using Lodash. Okay, super. So if photo is not equal to null, and also we want to know, and this is not equal to null, and what else do we do? And the image types. So the photo is going to be coming in, as it said. It's going to have a buffer, which is going to be of base64 encoded string data, and it also is going to have a type, right? So I'm going to say image types dot includes, okay, and if it includes the photo dot type, all right, then we are going to say we're going to associate that photo with the dish object. Okay, so I'm going to say dish.photo.data because if you recall, we have a data attribute here in the content type. You need to set both of them. Okay, so I'm going to say dish.photo.data is equal to new buffer because this is going to be binary data, so I'm going to store it as a buffer, and this is going to be dot from photo.data, of course, and I'm going to say encoding will be base64. Okay, I think it's probably saying this is actually deprecated. No, okay, fine, read it here, and I'm also going to say dish dot photo dot content type. Content type is going to be photo.type. So all this is going to be coming in as a payload for us. Okay, super. So next we're going to call this method up there where we're actually creating the dish, right? And right after creating this dish, I'm going to say save photo, give it the dish and the photo object. Okay. Super. Now we should be able to save our photo, okay? And then when we return the new dish, we want to make sure that the return data doesn't have the photo, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of data that's going back and forth, right? So we want to save the bandwidth, and it's also not required to send the photo back as long as it's persisted properly. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say new dish dot photo is equal to undefined. Yeah. So essentially when we send it here as a JSON photo object, the photo attribute will be undefined. I think we're in a good shape here to actually test that. The only thing is we have to send the photo this time around, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to use the Postman instead of the REST client here. We can also use the REST client, by the way. So let's head over to Postman. I'm right here and Postman. And I'm going to say it's going to be a post request and HTTP. Okay, localhost, actually let's go ahead and copy this because it's going to be easier that way. Let me head over to my editor. That's going to be right here. Okay, there we go. Alright. I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, and need some headers and content length. I have to have a few headers here. Content type, do we have that? No, I don't think so. Content type, yeah. It's going to be application/JSON. Accept is going to be application.json also. And what else do we need? Don't think we need anything else here. Let's head over to the body now, okay? And inside the body, I'm going to say it's going to be raw and JSON, okay? And in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I need a name, and I'm going to say this is going to be BC Bailey Butt. Alright. And let's give it some description. This is going to be, and then let's say what's going to be the price. The price is going to be, this has to be double quotes, price, let's say 180. Okay, and then we need to provide a category now. Category, that's going to be, again, has to be in double quotes. Right, and it has to be category ID. Let's go back to the editor to pick that up. I'm going to say this is my category. Okay, oops, right here. Okay, and the next thing would be our photo data, right? And that's going to be a object in itself. So I'm going to say photo. And that's going to contain data, right? Again, it has to be in double quotes, and again we have to have type, and that's going to be a image / JPG. Okay, sorry about that, JPG. Alright, and before we do something, we need some data here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of the websites here that converts image data to base64 encoding. Okay, so let's head over to Google. I'm going to say JPG to base64 online. Pick the first link, And let me see if I can import from file, and let's go ahead and pick this. Super. And then I can just copy this to the clipboard. Now this is the base64 output. Go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to go ahead and paste this in here. Alright, so let's see what we got in here. So this is a fairly long data because of the base64 encoded string. Yeah, so we're good here. Okay, so we can essentially send this right now to our API and make sure that we have the data, and then we're also looking for the type, and the type here is image/JPG. Let's check if that's how it was coded in our controller. So this is image/JPG, yeah, but alright, this has to be IMA. There's a typo in there. But I thought we referred it somewhere. Let's see, because otherwise it's gonna throw an error or not insert our data. Okay. Alright, fingers crossed, guys. Let's see what we get. Okay. So I'm gonna say localhost API/dishes and go ahead and send this. Request entity too large. Okay. Let's see why we are seeing this new interesting error there. Right. Let's see how we can go about solving that. Alright, turns out we may have to turn on a few properties here in Express, especially when processing JSON here. So let's head over to our code again. And in here, what I'm going to do is I'll head over to express.js, and right after app.use.express.json, I'm going to set the limit here. I'm going to say limit is gonna be 1 MB. Alright, we can also make it externalized if we want in the future, but for now I'll just keep it hardcoded. And I'm also going to say app.use. Okay, and I'm going to say express.url encoded. Okay, and for this I want to set the limit to 1 MB also. Okay, set the limit to 1 MB, and after this I also want to set the extended to true. Okay. Alright, so hopefully this will do the trick for us. Let's wait for that to actually connect to the database. Yeah, it's connected now. Let's go ahead and then resubmit this and hope that it actually goes through fine. What I'm going to do is, okay, let's go ahead and do that. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's trying to do something here. Super, I think we got the response back here, right? And it's gone ahead and done the creation of the dish. And let's look at our source code here, and apparently we got a 201 here as well. Okay, so we have no problems at all here. Okay, and the next thing we want to do is you want to go ahead and check the dishes table in terms of whether a new dish was added, and if it was added, if it contained a picture. Okay, and I think if I let's see, what is the ID here. I'm going to query this ID, and I'm going to supply the ID here, underscore ID is equal to inside of double quotes. Yes, I need to make it lowercase. You have to. Let's go ahead and query this. Oops, 0. Interesting. Maybe this is not required. Thought it was required. Let's go ahead and look for all of them for a moment. Okay, it was actually one that wanted C1C0. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, and we also have a photo here. The data set to binary, content type as image/JPG. Okay, so our creation API is looking good right now, and let's take a pause here, and then we will come back and define another API to actually list our dishes and list a dish by ID and also fetch the photo. Okay, let's take a quick break here and come back and then get moving in those remaining items.